Welcome back. So it's been an amazing couple of weeks. I am totally tired, which is why I am wearing my glasses. It means I've been working really hard. We just finished our first run of concerts for the In Transit series. So the last time we saw each other, I was in the middle of my living room with a huge pile of boxes and suitcases and programs and failed programs for everything that we needed for these shows to produce them in a ton of different venues. And over the last couple weeks, we've presented the first concert of our series, which is called Undercover Hero, and it tells the story of a 13-year-old kid who uses his comic book forums to get out his frustrations about being bullied at school. We were able to produce this show in 4 different venues. The Chicago Cultural Center's Preston Bradley Hall, which is a gorgeous space with an enormous Tiffany dome. We were at Ridge Park, which is through the Chicago Park District. We also performed selections from Undercover Hero at one of our board members' homes for a salon concert. And then we also performed at the Arts Club of Chicago, which is an absolutely gorgeous venue with an audience that has a long history of supporting arts in this city. So one of the things I love about Fifth House, and one of the things that is also the most challenging, is that we perform for a huge variety of different venues and all of the audiences that can be present in all of those spaces. So what this means is that you may have one concert that you're playing 4 times, but each time you do it, it has to be presented a little bit differently because the audiences are going to be very different in each space. So this is where you start getting into one of our favorite subjects, which is experience design. We first came across this term when we were planning a concert at the Adler Planetarium, and we got a business card from one of our colleagues that we met that day. And it said, Director of Experience Design. And all of us looked at each other and said, oh my gosh, I want that job. But the fact of the matter is that as artists, we all already have that job, whether we understand that fact or not. The simple truth is that when you present a concert, people are thinking about the entire experience. They're making judgments about you before you play a single note. Things like, was it easy to get to? Was the venue in a place that I'm used to hearing music, or was it something that was new to me? Was it a safe neighborhood? Was there parking close by? Was there access to public transit? Were there clean bathrooms? How were the programs? Was there a friendly face to meet me at the door? Could I find the performance space easily? Were the chairs comfortable? All of these things are at the most basic level of experience design, because you'd be surprised to discover that there's some of the major reasons that people do or do not come back. You would think that it has everything to do with what it is that you're playing or how you play it, but to be perfectly frank, a lot of audience members, especially first-time audience members, are going to be thinking a lot about those things before you even sit down to do a single thing. So if you wanted to go beyond the basics, you need to get to know your audience a little bit and think about what's going to make an absolutely fabulous experience for them. If you're talking about kids, is it going to be a costume contest beforehand and popcorn being served during the concert? If it's a group of people who would enjoy a pre-concert reception, who are your sponsors? Are you going to provide food and drink, and what is that going to be? Is this an audience that would enjoy wine or beer or anything in between? So these are all some decisions that you can make based on who your audience is. And then taking it one level further, how involved did your audience feel in the performance? Did they get to know you at all? Was it through the program notes? Was it through things that you said on the stage? Was it through an opportunity to meet you before or after the concert? And even more than that, did they have an opportunity to be involved in the performance itself, to help create something? And that's something that classical musicians don't think about so much, because the typical performance paradigm is that we get up there and do our thing and audiences clap and we all go home. But we had a really interesting thing in this last series of concerts, which was exciting for me and also a little frightening, which was called the Hope Cadenza. And the idea with the Hope Cadenza was that we were performing a certain movement of the Mozart, and we gave people the opportunity at the end of the show, after they've gotten to know the story and the characters and become a little invested that way, where they could tweet or text their hopes for these characters and for our society at large on the issue of bullying, so that we would be able to see their responses to the show projected on the screen as we play. And it was my job to sit backstage with a cell phone and tweet all of the text that we got And I was petrified at first because we thought, what if we don't get anything and it's going to be a hugely embarrassing blank screen? But the fact of the matter was that I started getting so many messages, I couldn't even keep up. And it was so exciting to see everyone pull out their cell phones and interact and tweet. And you really got this sense of community that happened within the room around the issues that we were getting people to think about through music and visuals and narrative. So it was a really fun thing for us to be able to see them create with us on that day. So I hope this encourages you to think a little bit about the challenges and joys of programming for a wide variety of people, and I'm looking forward to seeing what projects you might come up with next. Until then, we'll see you in a couple weeks.